Hi, it's Rich again.
And Dan.
We'd like to welcome you to the next episode. I just want to say we're now available on a multiple of platforms. And on top of that, I just want to thank everybody for listening, for subscribing, for taking your time out of your day to listen to us and our bullshit.
And the feedback's been brilliant.
Yeah, it has.
So it is really nice.
And just as a quick note, this is a hobby by us both. It's not a business. We don't make any money. So your time listening to us is very much appreciated.
Just us chatting shit.
Yeah. And we just want to, basically thank you all for that. So we'll kick off into questions, shall we?
Yeah, sounds good.
Let's go for it. So we've had quite a lot of questions been put through today. Today and the past week.
Oh.
And one question is different types of chefs and responsibilities.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go through the ranks?
Yeah, do I like it,
Okay.
yeah.
So we'll do ranks.
Do bottom to top.
Bottom to top. We'll do ranks and then we'll do responsibilities.
Yeah.
I'll do ranks, you do responsibilities.
All right.
If you can fucking remember them all.
It's been a while since I've been at the bottom of the title.
So just before we go into the ranks, all kitchens are different.
Yeah.
And that goes from hotels to restaurants to small cafes to whatever. But if you were in a full-fledged, fully kitted out, full team kitchen, this is how your ranks would be. And I mean, I'm talking 25 odd chefs.
Yeah.
Okay. So it starts off with your trainee.
Yeah.
Trainee chefs basically do fuck all, peel spuds.
The blank canvas.
Yeah. Then it goes into your commis chef.
Which sometimes have different tiers of commis chef as well.
Yeah.
Depending on the structure of it.
Yeah. Then we'll go to a senior commis, which isn't much of a step up, but it's something.
Yeah.
Then you will get promoted to demi chef de partie.
Just French for half.
Do you want me to say the rank and you explain it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do commis.
Yeah.
Because we can say that the trainees, it's self-explanatory.
Yeah. So demi chef de partie would be the next one.
So demi chef, it's someone that's not quite a full chef de partie. They're better than the commis chef, as in they've progressed through the know enough, but you wouldn't be able to leave them on a section for more than a day to cover the responsibility and the not just the cooking but the preparation, the ordering, the maintaining of standards. You wouldn't leave them by themselves. They need someone to be there, but they're a step up from the commis chef where they're not quite ready to be the chef de partie, but they're better than just being left, at the bottom just training.
Yeah,
essentially.
Then you have your demi chef de partie.
Demi chef done demi chef.
Then your chef de partie.
Chef de partie is someone who can run a section. They can run multiple sections, but they're normally primarily focused onto one area that you go through. So whether that be larder, pastry, sauce, banqueting, whatever area they're going through the ranks in, they should be able to comfortably run that section, leave them on there for a day, and be able to competently, execute the dishes and making sure that they've got the right par orders and the right level of ordering, and they can get ready for the next day. They should be forward thinking, looking ahead, not just then looking for the next day.
Senior chef de partie.
Senior chef de partie, exactly what it is. It's someone that's higher in rank than a chef de partie. So someone that's not quite ready to be into the next management stage, but they're like the head of the chef de parties. So they would be the one that the next in line for them to go to if they had an issue to go help them solve it.
Yeah.
They should be able to run multiple sections comfortably and be able to hold down the surfaces in most areas. Obviously not a specialist, so you wouldn't have someone that could just do pastry, be able to run sauce as well, because normally they'll go down different routes.
I see a senior chef de partie as basically they can run all sections, do all their orderings, like you said, but also have a bit of a dabble into pastry.
Yeah. Competence.
Yeah. Now, I personally, I know we're a kitchen team, but I do think pastry is unique and it's set to its own standards. So I think to be a senior chef de partie, you have the expectation to drop onto pastry and execute a service.
Yeah.
Whereas a chef de partie, I don't think it's needed.
No, because pastry's a different game altogether, isn't it, when
Yeah.
you go through the ranks in there? Because I've known pastry chefs that are absolutely phenomenal, but they can't cook you a chicken breast because
Yeah.
it's a different game.
Oh yeah.
It's something
Yeah.
that's completely, they're focused on one area. And as a chef de partie, you should be multiple skilled. But
Yeah.
if you're a pastry chef de partie, it's almost like a different brigade.
Yeah. So your next rank would be junior sous chef.
So junior sous, for me, is someone who they are not quite at the sous chef level of being able to run the entire kitchen,
Yeah.
but they're really reliable to be able to oversee possibly half of the kitchen.
Yeah.
So if you was to divide the sections up into maybe 3 or 4 sections, that they could comfortably oversee another chef de partie or a senior chef de partie to, they could oversee the operation of that. They'd be able to go do the main fridge ordering. They'd be able to, talk to suppliers. They'd be able to, handle more of the day-to-day, lighter tasks
Yeah.
that are becoming through. So they could, go to a guest and discuss with a guest. They'd be more knowledgeable than a chef de partie. But for me, a junior sous is normally where you're waiting to be a sous chef.
Yeah. I think a junior sous is I think responsibility is to train the chef de parties.
Yeah.
I personally think. I think that's their sole responsibility to get them ready, to get chef de parties ready for service. I think that's their main goal.
So more hands-on rather than should be more hands-on approach.
And then at your next rank, your sous chef, I think that's when it turns into more of a management role.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably they always say that the longest position to get out of would be a chef de partie because there's a lot to learn, but the hardest position to move up from is a sous chef.
Yeah, there's a transition there, isn't there? There's going from chef de partie to sous chef. I think that's when you turn from being a chef into being a manager and a chef.
You have to basically put your thinking cap on a lot more and be able to have more. It's more about experience and knowledge of a vaster amount of things than just cooking with the pans. And it's
so just to touch on what Dan said. So a sous chef, I personally think, needs to run a full section.
Yeah.
So on a section, you would have a sous chef, a chef de partie, and then probably 2 commis running one section.
I say sous should be able to hold the kitchen down, as in be competent at running the kitchen in the absence of the head chef. So they should be able to, for 2 days a week, should be able to maintain standards, maintain the ordering levels, maintain, cooperation in the kitchen, and keep and adhere to the, the day-to-day standards that have been set.
Yeah.
It's almost like they've got to be the front line of they're the safety blanket when the head chef's not there.
Yeah.
They're the ones that people need to go to, and anything should go through them. It shouldn't go straight up the ladder. It should go up to them.
So
get dealt with through there.
So another rank that sits side by side with sous chef, which I think it's a category in its own right, and I'll explain this one because I were this rank for a bit, and my mentor was also this rank as well. So the rank that sits side by side would be a chef de tournant.
Yeah.
Now, I personally think a chef de tournant basically doesn't specialise in a specific section. So if you were a sous chef, I think you'd be pegged to a section, basically.
Usually sauce.
You'd run sauce, you'd run larder, you'd run pastry, whatever. A tournant basically covers another sous chef in that absence. Yeah. So let's say if your pastry chef were off for 2 days, on 2 days off, I, as a tournant, would cover that section.
Yeah.
Let's say sauce sous chef were off for 2 days, you would move over and you would take over that section for 2 days. Do you know what I mean?
Like in internal agency, isn't it?
It's basically like a fill-in chef.
Yeah. It's big on cruise liners.
Yeah.
Cruise liners have that as a position of, that's the highest entry level that you can go in a cruise liner without previous experience on a boat.
Yeah.
Because I was looking into years ago going into boats, and that's the highest position that you can go in at without having any experience on cruise liners.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good actually.
Yeah. And then you go to your big leagues, Obviously, this doesn't really need explaining. So you've got your head chef, and then you would have an executive chef above that. So just as a brief explanation, your head chef obviously runs the kitchen. They deal with the stock management, the purchases, and the day-to-day running of the kitchen. Between the executive chef and the head chef, if there are two ranks that are filled, if there's a head chef and an executive, the executive basically wouldn't touch any food.
Yeah, won't touch a knife.
He would be creating menus, he'd be looking at the paperwork side, the analytics, the health and safety. Your head chef would purely run the kitchen.
Traditionally, exec chef will be a multi-site outlet.
Yeah.
So it'd be somewhere that's got more than one food source going out. So you need to overlook multiple head chefs.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's the step up from that to overlook like an area chef.
A bit like an operations manager, but in the kitchen. So that basically outlines the ranks.
I think there's one thing we've missed on here that we skipped past. We explained the word demi, as in half French, but we didn't explain sous.
Yeah.
Because obviously sous chef, like if it was going to be a head chef, a half head chef, it would be demi chef. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Sous, people don't understand what sous means. It just means under.
Yeah.
It's an under chef. That's all it is. It's under chef.
Yeah.
Because the amount of people that when you say what is a sous chef, and you ask them to explain what that role is, they can't even explain the name of it. You think if you that position, you should know what that means.
But chef means boss.
Yeah, so it's the underboss. Yeah, so boss and underboss.
Yeah.
So you don't have that people think sous second.
Yeah.
But that's not second in French.
It actually comes from old school French Foreign Legion. So in the French Foreign Legion, they actually call their superiors chef.
Yeah,
because it means boss.
It's regimented as well, and it does have a fitting with a kitchen. Really.
So that they're the ranks of a kitchen, and then usually, I'll quickly go over the sections. So you've got quite a lot of sections in a kitchen. You've got your pass, which is where all your food comes over, which is usually run by your sous chefs and your head chef. And that's where the final product leaves the kitchen. That's at the front.
The last check.
Yes, I've never really seen any seniors work from the back.
Oh, I have to.
You have to what? Lead from the back.
I have to cook and play. I don't get a luxury at the moment. I don't get the luxury of that.
And then you have a couple of sections going. You've got the larder section, which deals with all your cold food items, your smoked stuff, your pâtés, parfaits, your soups, your garnishes, your light stuff, and basically your starters. Then you've got sauce section, which they call it sauce, but you're actually dealing with your meats,
proteins.
Yeah, your heavy garnish for your meats, and your sauces. You've also got a fish section which deal with the fish, your fish garnish and your fish sauces. Then you've got a veg section which you're dealing with your veg and your potatoes for your service.
Usually sides as well.
Yeah.
Kind of things come in that category.
That can be served on the plate or off the plate. When I say off the plate, I mean in little bowls.
Side dishes.
Yeah, side dishes, yeah. Then you have... What else have you got done? Pastry.
Your banqueting.
Yeah, pastry and banqueting. Pastry is a bit of a rule to their own. They keep themselves separate. I love what they do, appreciate what they do, but the reason why it's always kept separate, I personally think, is because it's just a different calibre.
Yeah, it's more about the finesse of the products and executing to within.
Yeah.
You've got everything's weights and measurements and times. Whereas when you're cooking a piece of meat, the size of the protein differs.
Yeah, it can be a bit more salt, a little bit more.
Exactly. So you can. I would find that with cooking, you can always add as you go. Yeah. Whereas pastry, you can't add once it's finished. So you can't add if you don't put enough sugar in and you make a cake, you can't add the sugar afterwards. You can't make it sweeter.
It's a bit more of a science in
exactly.
Yeah. So that's the responsibilities and ranks and the sections in a kitchen. So, you know, like I said, it differs in all kitchens. You know, that was just a brief overview of
See, in my kitchen, I separate larder into hot larder and cold larder.
oh, do you?
So the cold larder is usually, well, as it is, it's all the cold items, and hot larder is the hot items. So because of the way that the layout of my kitchen is, it's very difficult to do a different flow to it.
Yeah.
You've worked in that kitchen, you've known that kitchen.
Oh my god,
The
yeah.
flow is so hard. So to get that flow correct, I've had to think about the way that the sections can run. So the hot larder does the side orders and any kind of garnish of it. So they'll do the mashed potatoes, they'll do the different types of purees that I need for certain dishes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in a smart kitchen, you have to double up on certain items so that you've got, you know, there's no point making a pea puree on starters and then making a pea puree for main course.
Yeah.
You make one pea puree that's bang on, and then you share it among the kitchen, so it's the same standard.
Yeah.
So it's mainly just bulk prep jobs that are put onto cold larder, a hot larder,
Yeah.
where the fryer's over there. So any potatoes, any fries, chips, people love fish and chips.
Yeah.
Apparently, battered fish and chips, people love it.
Because it's a fucking thing.
It is a thing. But that comes from that section just because that's where the fryer is located, and it's easier to. That's a main course that they do, so it's away from sauce. So you're not having to watch over a piece of fish frying in fryer while you're cooking a nice chateau.
Yeah.
It's a different, it helps with timings. Really does help.
So, next question. What inspired you to become a chef? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, because I need to put mine into correct words.
I
need to put it in a way of it makes sense.
So my answer to this question is nothing inspired me to become a chef.
Really?
Really. So, just a brief sort of intro. I used to make hot water storage cylinders. And I used to weld and braze. And I was 16 years old. Welding and brazing. Right? An health and safety officer came round and said, "Why is a 16-year-old welding and brazing?" And they kicked me off.
Really?
And I ended up foaming the things, putting a layer of foam around these cylinders.
Yeah.
And I fucking hated it. So one of my mates turned around and says, "Here, do you want to become a chef? Like, do you want to be in a kitchen cooking?" I was like, "Yeah, go on then, I'll give it a go." And it just went from there. Now, as a blanket statement, chefs usually, I say usually, I'm not downgrading anybody who's got qualifications, by the way, but chefs majority don't really have any qualifications.
No. The one thing I mentioned this yesterday, I've never asked a chef for his GCSEs.
No,
why the fuck would I?
Yeah.
It's not relevant information to a kitchen.
No.
To be fair, most paperwork's not relevant to a kitchen. It's more of a hands-on. Can you cook?
Yeah.
No.
So the answer to that question for me is nothing inspired me. I think I've been inspired along the way in the journey, but to become a chef, no. I was just thrown in at the deep end and off I went.
See, I never had a different option. So I had... My inspiration is not really... It was, like I said, built along the way. So my granddad had a bakery before I was born. He had a bakery, and it was like in Ossett, one of the notorious bakery. He had it. Known for miles around. He was, expert at making breads and different stuff. My dad worked in the bakery, so my dad worked there for many years, and he's brilliant at making breads and stuff like that. Council came, wanted to widen a roundabout. Force bought his business, shut it down. For a frigging roundabout they didn't even use. So that kind of, it's always been instilled into me that the freshness of stuff like that, like making breads and pies and things like that was always that my dad always used to make when he had a bit of time at home. He'd always be making these things. But because I had a food allergy when I was a kid, I was the only kid in my school with a food allergy, and I was banned from eating at the school canteen. But the straight up just went, no, not allowed in. So rather than saying, no, we can adapt round, it was just, fuck you got an allergy, go sit in the library, bring a packed lunch, go away. That's literally what happened to me. Wow. So I had to sit by myself in the library. That's why I never really had lunch at school. I'd go play basketball or something else, or go away from it, because it's pointless. Like, you sit by yourself and just eat a sandwich and go on and fuck off. Can't be doing that.
So you were a loner as a kid.
I had to, look, I was forced into it. I was bullied by frigging. I think I've got PTSD every time I see a dinner
Bullied
lady
by
now.
teachers
Yeah.
and
Dinner ladies that would fucking get out, little Doris and that kicking me out. Fuck off, we've got beans on today. Sorry. But yeah, I'm never allowed to go in and eat in there, so it was just pointless going in. And at home, my mum would make dinner, but she'd make stuff that was safe for me, but she'd still make stuff for me. My sister and my mum and dad, they'd all just eat normal, and I'd have to have like a variation of boiled mince and rice was all my favourite. That used to have just boiled mince, no gravy on it, just boiled mince and rice.
Yeah.
And I thought, I need to learn how to cook things. Like I need to learn how to eat things, because if I'm going to move an allergy for the rest of my life, I need to understand this more. So I've always had an interest in wanting to know more about food.
Yeah.
Just for the pure fact of I don't want to starve.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat shit. So that was one factor. And then I'm not going to use the word kidnapped, because it wasn't kidnapping. I got asked to go work one night when I was like 15 by someone on the street that I lived on. They was in the shit and they needed someone to go work at the pub. And my mum was like, yeah, of course you can. Keep your school uniform on, get down to the pub. So my mum, go on. So I went down, worked, and to be fair, it were all right, worked front of house. And they said, oh, you can come back tomorrow. And from that point, I've always just worked in hospitality.
Yeah.
Just one night they said, we're short-staffed, you're coming in.
Yeah.
Slave labour, child labour, whatever it was. Just get me in, working. Don't tell them how old you are, just work here. Not behind the bar, just running food. You're going to run food all night. You're going to learn what things are and run. They just call me Linford Christie because I used to sprint everywhere. I carry 3 plates and fucking run. Like, that food was boiling by the time it got to the table.
Talk about slave labour. And just to digress a little bit, I can remember once, because I was really young, I remember once having a job interview. Fucking job interview were on Mother's Day. To this day, I've been fucked over.
Yeah.
But because I was young and I really wanted the job, I'm not gonna out the place.
Shame it. No.
It were a really small Italian restaurant that made everything fresh. And I wanted it down. I really wanted the job. So he said, oh, come down on this and such a day. So I came down, but I didn't realise it was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Right? So I rocks up, and honestly, I worked. He says, oh, do you fancy working for a couple of hours? I worked my bollocks off. Right?
On business day, yeah.
we got absolutely shafted. And I turned round to him and what we would call an interview, and I said, have I got a job? And he said, oh, unfortunately you ain't got a job.
What?
So basically,
just fucking bailed you out shit, and then you just said no.
What I think it was is because he had a small kitchen and it were a small restaurant, he needed bailing out at shit on busiest day. So instead of getting agency, he got my dumb ass in to work my bollocks off.
That's proper tight, like it.
To be fair,
proper tight.
He gave me like 70 quid. He went, I've realised it's been a difficult shift, like, so I'll give you 70 quid.
Yeah, but
to not get fucking job after.
You just served all these customers for me, and you've just lit my menu instantly. But nah,
and I nailed it as well. So talk about being thrown into fucking deep end.
Yeah, that's proper tight.
Anyway, next question. Where does the industry go from here, and what does the future look like?
Oh, I can imagine it's not going to be very pretty for chefs.
Do you want me to see? I have to go first in these questions, because what happens is if your brain doesn't process the answer, you'll come out with something ludicrous and offend loads of people.
Well, can I start on this one? Because I know the answer to this.
Go on, then you go first.
Because of the way of the world of allergies and intolerances, that I think that we're all going to be having. It's going to be guys in white suits making ready-made dinners and shipping them out for safety. I think because there's going to be that much of a GM food has really ruined the world, and they're saying they're not spraying stuff. They're spraying shit all over this food. They're making it grow quicker so they can have it quicker. That's not right, and we're now going to suffer the consequence of it through allergies, intolerances, and it's just making our immune systems weaker, which they just seem to let happen. But that's making it so that, like, now when people have got allergies, they're going to get more and more severe. More kids have got allergies than they ever had. Like, I was the only one at school that had one, and now there's like 5 in my daughter's year. Like, it's just everyone's getting it. So I think it's just going to be that it's going to go to pre-made safety food.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to be like 20 years down the line, but I think it's going to really affect the high-end places.
I think, yeah, just to add on to that, I think ever since COVID, the dreaded COVID,
Oh, yes.
I think what happened is a lot of kitchens went on furlough. I think the hotels ran still, but on a skeleton crew. I think because it was one of the very few industries that chefs could still work, but outdoors, I think a lot of chefs went and did other jobs.
Yeah.
You know, like working landscape gardening, because you could still do that if you were working solo.
I did it.
Yeah.
It was lovely.
So what I think happened there is chefs saw the other side of what life could be like. You know.
Yeah. I nearly didn't come back into it.
Yeah.
Once, I'm not going to name the place, but the shit houses that I worked for that I got made redundant at, just because of the said, we're in COVID, we don't know what's going to happen. Your wage is too high. See you later. Rather than keeping the skill level, and they kept the morons that was unskilled morons, literally couldn't even tie their own shoelaces. People, they kept them on because it was cheap, manipulative labour.
Yeah.
Rather than keeping the people that was actually grafted. So me and two other chefs got made redundant because of it, and they made some bullshit excuse. But they couldn't even justify it, which was the worst bit. And we kind of just accepted, like, all right, fuck you, like, we're done. Let's go. We'll be out on his asses and we'll figure it out because we're big boys. So we did, and I were a window cleaner. Fucking lovely.
Yeah.
I were a window cleaner going around in a van, just cleaning windows. It were nice.
So what I think then happened is half of the chefs left the industry. So we're obviously like half the skill level gone. And then once you come out of COVID, there were obviously that, you know, government wanted to input a structure where they'd pay for a majority of the dining to get people back into the industry, which
Eat
were
out,
great.
or whatever it were called. Dine out, eat out, whatever it were called.
Which were great. You know, it did what it needed to do, but half of the chefs had gone.
It was a stupid idea when you think about it, though. You're only allowed a table of 6, and it's all like you've got to be spaced out. But what we're going to do is we're just going to incentivize everybody to go out and slam these places to pump money back into hospitality.
Yeah.
But none of it's safe, which is why I went to the second lockdown. Because they didn't do it safely, because of companies like massive corporations that won't name the massive corporations, but they won't care if I did. The big places that are doing your certain types of carveries and stuff like that, they were slamming numbers through, thinking, we've had lost revenue for a year, we need to get some money in here. They were doing that, taking the kickback off the government, which helped boost them all up, pay the staff, fantastic, all that shit. But all it did was spread COVID around even more, because you're putting it back into a small environment where chefs can't be sick, because we're not allowed to be sick. And you've got someone that's got COVID that's working in the back that's just spreading it around, going to the second lockdown. It was a really bad idea, that. He needed to be put down for putting that idea up.
You're fucking digressing, you on my bastard question.
I'm sorry, but it just rattled me. That floppy-haired bastard just doing wrong stuff, he really rattled me with that. But it just fucked chefs out, didn't it? It proper fucked us.
Yeah.
I would help out in a pub on a weekend just because my wife's work, they needed help. And I was happy working through the week doing my window cleaning. Saturday, Sunday come, they wanted me to go and work in the pub to help out because they was getting slammed with no staff. I went in, absolutely hated it. I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking dreadful. Someone like, it sounds really tight, someone like us that can cook, that knows how to do nice things, that care about food, going in and standing there and doing 700 carveries, it's fucking degrading. Like, it is not, from knowing the other side of how to do stuff and wanting to care about the plate of food, to just being chucked in going, you're going to get shafted with no staff, and you're going to serve food that you're not happy with. It is so upsetting. So upsetting.
So back to the original question. This is what happens when somebody, me, has autism, and I'm set in my ways, and I have to run by a script, and you just ADHD just waffle on.
I can't help it. It's ODD, ADHD,
so when you hear me,
ATS, all that shit.
So when you hear me having to rein Dan in, this is why. So back to the question. So I was halfway through it when you started ranting. So I think COVID took half of the staff, half of the workforce. Moving forward, I think now we're struggling to get that other half of the chefs back in the industry to fill it. So, like you said, moving forward, I think we've got quite a lot of untrained chefs in the system, but because we're that busy, we can't train them properly.
Yeah.
And then the second half to the problem is the allergies, because there's that many allergies. Chefs are always looking for damage limitation. We're trying to find the safest route to execute what we need to do. So basically, I think, like you said, the answer to the question is, like you said, they'll end up going to satellite kitchens, big places where everything's made at one site in lab coats, packaged, and then sent to units and then microwaved. That's one. Or I think menu on the freshness side in small restaurants, I think the menus will get reduced eventually to 6 or 7 items, but that contain the most limited amount of allergies possible to keep everyone safe. I think that's the way the industry is going to go.
Yeah, I can see that. Then
I think they'll end up being two styles of food. I think they'll either be really high-end Michelin star, you get what you pay for, you don't tell me what you're eating, chef tells you what you're eating.
Menu style.
Yeah, Michelin star jobby. Or it's your flat rate, pre-packaged, we'll bend over backwards to feed you, but everything's...
It's going to taste the same.
Yeah.
If you have a lasagna, cottage pie, or fish and chips, it tastes the same.
So I
personally there's no fishing in fish and chips because of an allergen.
Yeah, I think you said it'll be 20 years or whatever down the line. I think it'll be close. I think we're looking probably like 10 years, I reckon.
I tell you what, being in this industry doing that is going to be soul destroying, isn't it?
It will be, but...
Because either way you look at it, you kind of design stuff up for customers to enjoy. So if you're having to create a tasting menu that is completely allergen free of all this stuff, so you can guarantee that you're a gluten free restaurant or you're a vegan restaurant or whatever you want to be, then that really limits the amount of variation you can have. It's like my wife's celiac. Don't stop me eating bread. Because I fucking love the stuff. I limit the amount of stuff that I try and, I look closer now at allergens just for, if I need to bring something home, she's like the guinea pig. I found something that's, a new brand, new product. Try this, tell me what you think, because she knows what things are supposed to taste like, and now she knows what brands taste like. So I use it as a kind of trial and error kind of thing. Does this taste nice? Is it shit? And 9 times out of 10, all this new stuff that's coming through is terrible. And it's just because they're trying to make it all gluten-free, vegan-friendly, dairy-free shit. If that's the way of the world, it's going to be very scary.
Yeah. Even when they brought in the calorie thing, I think the calories are bullshit.
It's like we digressing again, but one thing that we both said before is I write an allergy guide every single time I change something on the menu. What a dish changes, or I have to redo. I have to review it every month just to go through to make sure there's nothing changed within that month period. I have every dish that I do, I'll have a set standard for it. If I change one ingredient, I have to change the entire spec sheet. What I do is I just write on top of a new one, like the updated version of it, so that I can go type it up all in one go. And I have never once been asked for that in my entire life. Been asked for that.
I've been asked for it once,
and you think how much effort we put in for never. They even say
by a customer. I've been asked. Front of house staff. To be fair, the previous place I worked at, the front of house staff were on it. They wanted the allergy, because we did if we did a buffet, we had a breakdown of the allergies. They were on it. We need the allergy sheet so we can serve the buffet. Really good system. And to be fair, so the previous company I worked for were called Valor. They were a managing company which run Hiltons and stuff like that. Alongside my executive head chef, Ash, the allergy system they've created for that hotel were fucking unbelievable, untouchable. I do think it would probably the safest system I've worked with.
Yeah. See, mine is, we have, say there's a buffet that's coming in, I have set templates, but obviously being a place that's just more of a bespoke place, people come in and they want to change stuff or they want different dishes. So I kind of I spec out my basic stuff that we have on, like a funeral buffet. We have all the stuff on for that, and then they'll bring it to me before we type it up. Like they'll bring a typed up version to me, and I check over every single item just to make sure there's nothing we missed off there. Sometimes, for some reason, when you have a reception team that are just typing your stuff up, they'll add allergens just for the laugh of it.
Yeah.
And you think, why? There's no sesame in that. It's coleslaw. Why would you put sesame in coleslaw? Like, it's not in there. But they've just added it because I know that sesame is an allergy, so better put it in there.
Yeah.
Like, it might have been touched. There's nothing on that menu that I was on, which it's better to be overcautious than undercautious. But then again, it's false information. It should always be relevant, correct information. That's the whole point of an allergy guide.
Yeah.
So we double check every single buffet, even if it's a wedding and there's 2 weddings that's on back to back and they've got the same buffet menu, same pizza menu, they still have to check daily to make sure that there's no changes.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I liked working with my old boss, Ash. He said basically, if you have an allergy or a multiple of allergies and it put you at risk, don't make the dish.
Yeah.
And he supported us. If we turned around and said it's too many allergies, it's not safe to create this dish, he'd be like, don't do it.
Yeah.
And if we said no, he'd be like, and customer kicks off, he'd be like, yeah, I support my chef, which is unheard of, really.
I really like that because I 100% agree with that. But the hardest bit of telling the customer no is that
but if you
company ethos is the customer's always right.
Yeah, but right or wrong, if you can't keep that customer safe, who's going to jail?
Well, chefs.
Well, it's us. Yeah. So I'm not going to go to jail just because I put somebody at risk.
I've had it where they've come in and said, "Oh, I'll risk it.
Yeah.
It's not your call to make anymore." So, like, "Oh, I've got a shellfish allergy." Well, you can't have fish and chips because we cook tempura prawns in the same fryer as fish, so you can't. I'll risk it.
And
What do you mean you'll fucking risk it? No, you won't. Yeah, but it's a contamination's all right. It's just it's not a direct allergy. Well, then it's not an allergy. Then it's not. No, it's either you're allergic or you're not. Don't tell me you are or you aren't.
Yeah.
It's either you can't have a small amount of it and be okay. That never happens. Allergies are. It's not intolerance. The difference in allergies and intolerances.
Yeah.
And people don't seem to understand that.
But just like giving somebody an allergic reaction and understanding it and putting that customer at risk. I don't want to be in Armley prison with my pants down picking soap up just because of a fucking shellfish allergy. Do you know what I mean? It's not worth it. Anyway, we have completely digressed away.
Can't remember the original question.
So, because we're pressing for his quarter of time, we'll do as last question, I think. So, what's the one thing you've learned as a chef that surprised you?
That's a tough one, really.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what.
One thing that I've learned as a chef that surprised me. So, I don't think it's a specific thing. I'm going to say knowledge. So, when I first started being a chef, I wanted to cook everything. I wanted to do this, do that. Until there were a couple of chefs in my life. And I'm going to openly say it. It was a guy called Anton Scoons. He has listened to this before, and I'm hoping he's listening now. He basically taught me to take a fucking step back and not rush into, like, I always wanted to be on service, cooking, serving.
Yeah.
Where actually, he taught me to take a step back and learn the process. So, a tomato, for example. Sometimes we look at a tomato as a visual. It's a tomato. It's acidic. It does certain things. You add sugar to it. You know, it can be manipulated. But learning where it come from, how it was grown, where it was grown, what type of soil it needs, and then understanding the transition from the farm to the plate. I think that as an example, over everything, like oysters, for example, where they come from, how they're grown,
who looks after them,
looks after them, how they're treated, different waters, how it affects the oysters.
How they clean them,
Yeah.
purify them, all that.
And I think that has been my biggest lesson that I've learned, to understand my food before I start cooking. And I think, and I don't know what other people think about me anymore, but it used to be the fact that knowledge was my skill set. I wasn't actually an amazing chef, and I never will be, but I was knowledgeable about what I knew about.
There's a phrase that I used to use about you all the time, which I used to always, it was, you could tell me not only what types of mushrooms were in the wild mushroom mix, but no one else could tell us. You'd just pick them out and go, oh, that's a shiitake, that. Oh,
Yeah.
well, you got an oyster bear. But you'd say where they were grown and how they were grown and cultivated. And so I always use the example of you when I remember the wild mushrooms coming in, and you literally picked them up and were stood there, and you just went, "Oh, this grows next to rocks because of this." And I think, "Fucking hell, like, it's like an encyclopedia of knowledge. It's brilliant." But that's always been the thing that I always look to you and go, "I'll ask you a question about that because I know that you know the answers." And I'd say that's a really good answer. Actually, my first instinct was the origins of where things are and the transition from how it gets from A to B. So the respect level of not only the food, the way it's grown, but like these massive places that hold our food. It's like when you think apples don't grow all year round, and people look at a tree and go, "Oh, that apple," we pick them when they're on, they're an inconvenience in people's gardens and picking apples off. But then when it gets around to like March and they go, "How am I still getting apples in Sainsbury's?" Where are they stored? Who's keeping them? What temperature they're kept at? What humidity? What's the science behind how these apples are still there? Potatoes, they only come out of ground once a year. So when we get potatoes, how old is that potato? Who's looked after it? Where's it being kept? That side of it's been quite I like looking at that side of it, and that's been one thing that I've really tried to push on. And the guys at my work, they'll always say, they'll come up to me with a random fact that they've learned and say, "Right, do you know what this is?" And more likely than not, I can tell them because I've either looked into it, thought about it, or physically gone out to find out that answer myself already. So I think like knowledge is a massive thing. It is a massive thing.
So are we under the respect that, as an overview, the answer to the question is, so the question is, the most important lesson you've learned in a kitchen, I personally think it's understanding where and what your food is,
the procedures behind it all,
before you create what you need to create. That's what I personally think.
Well, we've touched on it before. It's like when someone looks at a dish and goes, "Oh, I need some green on that, put some pea shoots on it." You think, you don't understand food. You've got to understand it to love food. If you don't love food and you stand in the kitchen for 15 hours a day, you wouldn't stand there and put a pea shoot on something just because it looks colourful if you didn't understand the rest of the items on the plate that go with it. And like I said, knowledge is power in this game. Knowledge is everything. Because if you know where things come from, you can understand, you can get a better grasp on the seasonality of things and when things are going to be at the best, when they're going to be at the worst. That's a very good answer. I'm behind that 100%.
Yeah, good. Well, that tails off this episode.
Yeah,
so
been a good one, that.
I'm not going to lie, we've got hundreds of questions.
Well, let's save them for next week.
Yeah, okay.
That sounds good to me.
So it's been a pleasure again, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
And go on all the platforms and just click on every single platform you've got to get his numbers up, please.
Yeah, do that standard shitty thing that all YouTubers say: like, click, and subscribe, or whatever they all say.
We'll do a giveaway of a Rich will get a kiss next time I see you.
Yeah, if you're up for a kiss.
If you're up for a kiss,
no,
you just have to drop us a like or whatever you do.
Charlotte listens to this podcast. I'm not.
Well, she better like then. She better fucking like then, or else she'll get a kiss.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.